profile interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the newly appointed General Secretary of ITUC Africa. It brings us up to speed on what workers across the continent should be expecting from ITUC Africa, while also emphasizing that the free movement of workers across Africa would actually improve decent work. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your new appointment as the ITUC Africa General Secretary. I know this means a lot to us here in Nigeria and across the African continent. Very quickly, the theme of the 5th Congress, which saw your new appointment, was themed Amaka Africa. Can you bring us up to speed on why the Congress decided to choose that theme? What does it mean for Africa and the continent at large?
Thank you very much. Amaka Africa is a clarion call to reawakening. It's a call to mobilization. It's a call to action. It's a call to working men and women on the continent to say more than ever before, is the time that we begin to make deliberate contributions, tangible contributions at our different spaces to the issue of transformation of the African continent. We chose the theme because we saw that as where we are today, there's a growing momentum for renaissance of the continent. Pan-Africanism is on the rise again, as it seems, and for African workers, we cannot be left behind. We need to seize the moment. We need to build on the momentum for a continent that should rise and take its place, a rightful place as such in the Committee of Nations. We are saying to ourselves, it is enough of this cliché of a continent that is rich, a continent that is blessed, that is endowed, but a continent that is in misery and poverty. In other words, all of these situations around us, they are conditional, they are human, they are man-made. They can be flipped around. And we are saying more than ever before, let us begin to make our tangible contributions in our different spaces to changing the current situation, the current narrative of our continent. Because as we know, workers are the heart center of change, transformative change that can happen anywhere in the world. That is why we chose the theme first to speak to ourselves as workers, and much more on the understanding of what we need to do, go forward together to making this change happen, engaging with other social partners at the national level.
We're talking about continuous engagement. During the conference, we witnessed some presidents from Africa made their contributions during the conference. For example, the president of Kenya made the announcement that by year will not need a visa to come into the country. Now, before we move on to other labor matters, we know that migration is a big issue and challenge in Africa today. And if the president of a particular country actually is ready to open its borders to other Africans, what does this mean for the labor market? And what can the international community also actually take home from this move?
Thank you very much. When you listen to the president of Kenya, His Excellency President William Ruto, he made the point very clearly that those who impose visas on us, in other words, those who impose border demarcations on us, these persons have moved on. And he used the Schengen visa, Schengen arrangement as an example of over 300, 400 million population that have abandoned the visa regime and have opened up to themselves. Now, ordinarily ought not to be. And we are happy, we are excited that gradually we are beginning to see African governments come to realization that no, you don't need this. First, let's put it into context why you don't need it. An Africa that must be a player at the global level, which of course, as you know, we are currently on the periphery, the margins of world economies. If we want to be a player, we need to begin to encourage integration in the real sense of it. Mobility. People must be able to move unhindered on this continent. It is an aberration that foreigners come to our countries and they just enter through the various port of entry by simply showing certain passports. And then we have consigned ourselves as Africans to inferior citizens on our own continent. That should change. That is what President Ruto is saying. That come December this year, Kenya will no longer apply the visa regime. Of course, you know, Kenya is not the first country. Republic of Benin has stopped to issue visas. Any African can come to Benin and they are home and they are welcome. Rwanda has done the same. And as you see for these economies, traffic to these countries are growing by the day. For us, like trade unions, we want to hold meetings that, you know, visa could be an encumbrance. We don't think twice. We go to countries like Rwanda. We just simply go to Kigali. We go to Cotonou to hold our meetings because we know that all Africans are welcome. If you have an African continental free trade area, a trade regime amongst yourself, and you want to further this trade regime to have good impetus, you need people to move.
How does this affect the world of work? How does this affect the world of work with
Thank you very much.
Plain experience that people are faced with?
Clearly, it is a diffusion in the labor market. You have opportunity to input more brains, more hands, more capacities, more skills, more competencies within the labor market. And this will make the labor market more dynamic, more, it's not necessarily making it more competitive, to use the word that some persons like to say. But when you make it more dynamic, you have more players in the sense, you have more infusion, people bringing new ideas to others in their different communities of how to do things better. You begin to find out that the labor market begin to benefit from it, that more skills than employers can take from. Also, you begin to see that even existing skills have the opportunity to improve themselves going forward. So the question of demand and supply of labor gets improved by the day. Also, then locals begin to see themselves that if other skills are coming that are better, they need to improve themselves. Government begin to see the need to invest in skills development, that indeed you need this so that your people can also be able to take the opportunities that are available for an open Africa continent for all. At the end, Africa will be the winner for it, because when people move, as we say, they move with ideas, innovative ideas for that matter. They move with their culture. When you have cultural diffusion, the labor market is more likely to benefit from stability, from cohesion. Tolerance will grow when people move because different cultures are moving. And at the end, you are creating stability for the market to be able to do and to perform well. We see this as a win. ITUC Africa, importantly, has been canvassing for this. When President Muhammadu Buhari I made the pronouncement that you have visa on arrival for all Africans, ITUC Africa celebrated it. It is the way to go. And we make it clear, it is not about security. Mobility is not a security issue. It is only a government that is lazy to do its regular work that will jump on the bandwagon, that when people enter my country, they compromise my security. You have the checks, to be able to weed who comes in and who goes out ordinarily. Across the country, even when you look at Nigeria, not just the labor market, the auxiliary market, the complementary market. I'm talking about hotels, I'm talking about services, I'm talking about transport. You have many persons at the airport who are waiting for passengers to pick them into the cities. When you open the country for people to move in, the first is coming in, you know where they are coming to. Wherever they are going, you know where they are going to. You know who is inviting them. You know what they are going to do. And when they are moving, jobs are being created. People are providing services. Money is, are exchanging hands. The crisis of the dollar that Nigeria currently faces as a country, for instance, this open border help to address it in a way. When I say open border, it's not the porous border that our government lament. For instance, they talk about fuel issue. You want to increase fuel prices because there is smuggling. If you cannot police your border, don't be lazy and pass it on to the people as a punishment. That is not what we are saying. We are saying when people grow the economy, it provides opportunities for job creation. It makes people to begin to think of new products and how to satisfy certain emerging markets. This is the way to go. Nigeria, as a big economy, cannot afford to that. Do not forget, Nigerians move a lot. So also on the basis of movement, it is reciprocity. On the continent, Nigeria needs to show example. Let others feel welcome into the country. And then the more they come, the more opportunities for us. And we know that when people begin to come and enjoy that, the others will open to Nigerians as well.
Very quickly, can you share with us what would be your agenda following your new appointment? What more should we expect from ITVC Africa?
Thank you very much. Quickly, there's a question on our main agenda is the question of human and trade union right protection. We are seeing very disturbingly that governments are beginning to continue to shrink the space. We noticed this from COVID-19. Until this day, we are seeing a shrinking in the freedom of association, the right of workers to join and form trade unions of their choice. Nigeria is a very country in focus for us because what we see in Nigeria these days are very disturbing. For the first time in a long time in our history, a president of the Nigeria Labour Congress was beaten right in front of policemen. We were told that in short, the beating was supervised by the police, who later took him into custody under the guise of protective custody. That in itself has thrown the whole freedom of association enjoyment situation in Nigeria to the dustbin.
How will this contribute to nation building and the welfare of workers? Finally, because we're running out of time.
Oh, for running out of time. Okay, well, all of this will contribute to nation building because it's about people. Nation building is about people. When you are able to mobilize the people effectively, first on a trajectory to say this is the direction of travel, and you are clear about it, and you yourself as leaders, you are showing the necessary example, you can be sure that the people, even when you call upon them to make the sacrifices, they will do so. And we say for trade unions, we are ready to make the sacrifices when we see clearly that this is where we are going. We have been making sacrifices, no doubt, but we are saying we are not tired. We are ready to make sacrifices, including ready to negotiate wages that speaks to how society should move forward. By this, I mean national minimum wage. National minimum wage clearly has opportunity for contributing to nation building. And a society that can guarantee wages for people, fair, good wages, is a society that can continue to reproduce. It's a society that its chances of increasing productivity is high because it's about the means to consume that encourages production. It's a cyclical thing. And that we are going to be very vocal. We are interested in taking wages out of competition. People do not need to say, my labor is cheap, so I'm competing.
Then could there even be a national minimum wage for the workers in Africa? Are you looking at that possibility? Not just a Nigerian minimum wage, but probably a national minimum wage across the continent.
In 2015 to 2017, ITVC Africa was engaging the African Union to have a continental minimum wage. A continental minimum wage. By so doing, you are able to say, people will not say, come to Congo, come to Rwanda, come to Senegal, come to Benin, or come to South Africa or Zambia, my wage is better. We are saying a continental minimum wage. So that by so doing, it is not that you are trading competitiveness on the basis of slave wages. We are saying it can be on the strength of a well-skilled labor force, of a paid labor force that you can grow productivity. The productivity of the African continent is down. And as trade unions, we want to contribute to addressing that. That is why we are serious. We are going to continue to campaign for skills development, for retraining. We're in the fourth industrial revolution. And industrial revolution, certain skills are no longer useful. We know that. And we are not kidding ourselves, pretending that all is well, or we just want to roll over.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Our next conversation will definitely discuss about industrial revolution and the take home for everyone. It was an interesting time that I have with you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.